Hello, my name is Travis Rogers, and this is a submission for my digital portfolio. Originally, I was thinking about taking pictures of some of this evidence, but I thought it would be easier to make a video so that I could kind of talk through some of it. So the area that I am talking about today is habits of mind. And what I want to present to you today is evidence using student work to explain how I've been able to reinforce habits of mind. The habit of mind that I want to talk about today is accuracy of student work. What I realized in the older grades was that students often didn't want to do work that they had already done. So if students wrote a paragraph, they didn't want to go over the paragraph to make corrections and to make it a better product. In the video you saw with one of my students, he explained why it was important to correct your work. And now I want to show you some other examples of how. So the way this looked in my class is I first presented this book. This book was called Children Around the World. It's a district level book. In this book we talked about different characters such as Deepa from India. We also talked about Ming Chang from China. I want to make sure this is in the video. We also talked about Ming Chen from China. And after we went through this book, there are about 6 different characters in the book, learning about 6 different countries. Our ending activity was for my students to make personal books. The first book I wanted to show you came from my student. We'll call her C. First, she started with the rough draft. First she started with the graphic organizer, or taking notes. Step 1 is taking notes. During the story, she was able to take key details and also complete it with drawings. Step 2 is to draft your work. During this drafting process, my students were taught to get their thoughts out on the paper. Step 3 is correcting the work, and that's where I make the edits. Step 4 is the final product, and as you can see, we have both pictures and words to represent one of the stories. That's one student. This is student S. This is also his work. Here's his note section. From the note section, step 1. Step 2 is drafting your work. Step 3 is then editing that work. And then finally, step 4 is making the final product, also including pictures and words. So, this is student V. I just wanted to show you her book. I'm going to read first the graphic organizer and show the progression of the book. So it says for detail 1, Fatima Morocco, lives in Casablanca, flyover city, drink mint. For Ming Chen, she is in a big city from China, Food and her father drive cars. Deepa, India. She lives in Banaras. Her family is Hindu. Moving into the rough draft stage, I also taught my students that it's important to take those notes that are small pieces of information and turning them into sentences. So the sentences that she came up with in the first draft say, in the story, Deepa lived in Banaras and her family is Hindu. They eat chapata bread. What they do for fun is they buy dresses. In the editing process, I showed her that it was important not to split up words between lines, and then I also did some spelling corrections. Also, getting to the final draft, we added now that we got to the final draft, I told them that it was important for all books to have both pictures and words, and you'll see that in this next, in the final draft. So, in the story, Deepa lived in Banaras and her family is Hindu. They eat chapata and they buy dresses for fun. Fatima, she lives in Casablanca, in a city. They eat cookies and they drink mint tea. What they do for fun is they look at stars. And if you noticed in her rough draft, she talked about them doing stuff for fun, but she didn't extend the sentence to talk about the actual stars. In her final draft, she made that correction once I indicated in her edits that they need to be able to say what it is that she was having fun doing. And that is just a few examples of our class and showing ways that we taught increasing accuracy in student work. Thank you.